Hey, what's up? My name's Alea. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be doing an ultimate bookish reading vlog where we're going to be doing some mood reading of some new 2025 releases as well as some other books that are a little bit older that are on my TBR. We're going to be doing some book shopping. We're going to Barnes & Noble, and we're also going to go to my local used bookstore, and we're also going to go to the antique mall as well. And so the start of this vlog, I was living in Idaho, and then halfway through I moved across the country to Iowa, so you're going to get to see a little bit of both. And I'm really excited to share this vlog with you because I've been working on it for a while, and I'm really excited about the books that I read in this video as well. So without any further ado, let's get into the reading vlog. Hello, my sweet little petunias. I am back from book shopping and from the vintage store, and I have some things to show you. So the first thing I wanted to get into is a little book haul. So I got quite a few books from the used bookstore, and I'm really excited to show you. So let's get into the book haul. So the first one I got, I think, is called Sacre Blue by Christopher Moore, and this is quite the cover. So we've got hot mermaid, no, she's not a mermaid, hot naked girl who looks kind of like a mermaid on the cover, and creepy Magoo back here in the back, lurking on her in Paris is what it's giving. But the reason I picked this one is because, first of all, there's little art in here, and also I liked the beginning. So if you don't know, usually when I'm picking up books, especially at like an in-person bookstore or the used bookstore, I usually try to read like the first sentence of the first page to decide if I'm going to get it or not. So this one starts off by saying, on the day he was to be murdered, Vincent van Gogh encountered a gypsy on the cobbles outside the inn where he'd just eaten lunch. Big hat, said the gypsy. Big hat. Honestly, mood. Honestly, his hat is big, and she should have said it, you know what I'm saying? So that one intrigued me. And then I also found this one that is horror, and it's called Strange Tales from Japan, and it's 99 chilling stories of ghosts, demons, and other supernatural creatures, and it has this creepy girl on the front. No body, just a head, just hair, love to see it. She's got those creepy red demon eyes too, and this one just sounded interesting to me. I don't think I've really read Japanese horror before, and I really like horror short stories, and so I saw this and thought it was unique and decided to pick it up. And there's also some art in this one as well, so if you can see, got this creepy like witchy lady in here, and let me see if I can find some more. Oh, fun. All kinds of stuff. There's like a whole bunch of art in here in the middle. So anyways, I thought that sounded really cool, so I picked that one up as well. And then I also got one that one of my professors in college recommended to me, and I still haven't read it, and it's called The Friend. So this is a nonfiction memoir, question mark. On the back it says it's a moving story of love, friendship, grief, healing, and the magical bond between a woman and her dog. And that sounded really good to me. And I remember one of my very, very favorite professors in school was like, you like writing nonfiction, you should read this book. And I was like, okay, noted in the noggin. And then I never picked it up. And so I saw this at the used bookstore and was like, this feels fortuitous. I'm going to get it. And also, love the big Great Dane on the cover. Very pretty cover too with the colors and everything. I like that a lot. So I'm excited to get into this. And then I also picked up one by Chuck Palahniuk, who I've never read from before, but it's called Damned, and love this cover. Stunning. Creepy devil with the mustache. And this is another one where I was just like caught by the cover and then read the beginning and thought it sounded cool. So I don't know. This one came out in 2011. Interesting. Okay, so it starts off, it says, "Are you there, Satan? It's me, Madison. I'm just now arrived here in hell, but it's not my fault, except for maybe dying from an overdose of marijuana. Maybe I'm in hell because I'm fat, a real porker, if you can go to hell for having low self-esteem. That's why I'm here. I wish I could lie and tell you I'm bone thin with blonde hair and big boobs, but trust me, I'm fat for a really good reason. To start with, please let me introduce myself. How to best convey the exact sensation of being dead. Yes, I know, the word convey. I'm dead, not a mental defect." Anyways, I like the part at the beginning where she's talking to Satan because she's in hell and she's dead. And it does sound like it could be fat phobic though. I don't know about that. But the back says Madison is a 13-year-old daughter of a narcissistic film star and a billionaire. Abandoned at her Swiss boarding school for Christmas, she dies over the holiday, presumably of a marijuana overdose. The last thing she remembers is getting into a town car and falling asleep. Then she's waking up in hell, literally. Madison soon finds herself sharing a cell with a motley crew of young sinners, a cheerleader, a jock, a nerd, a punk rocker, all united by their doomed fate like a breakfast club of the damned. Together they form an odd coalition and march across the unspeakable landscape of hell, full of used diapers, dandruff, Wi-Fi blackouts, evil historical figures, and one horrific call center to confront the devil himself. Doesn't that sound good? I've never heard anybody talk about this book. Everybody always talks about Chuck Palahniuk, but never this one. And I saw it and I was like, you know what? Love books about hell. I've read Dante's Inferno a few times. Anything set in hell sounds good to me, especially if we're following like a witty 13-year-old kid. I think that could be really fun. And then next I picked up The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So this is one that I've heard so many people talk about, and I've never read Erin Morgenstern. I'm really interested in her other book too, but I saw this and I was like, maybe this is the moment for me to read this. All I really know is it's like a kind of magical realism story about a circus, and I think it has something to do with like magicians. Let's read the back together. So it says, the circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. It is simply there when yesterday it was not. Within the black and white striped canvas tents is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazements. But behind the scenes, a fierce competition is underway, a duel between two young magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. Unbeknownst to them, this is a game in which only one can be left standing. Amidst the high stakes, Celia and Marco soon tumble headfirst into love, setting off a domino effect of dangerous consequences and leaving the lives of everyone from the performers to the patrons hanging in the balance. Ooh, that sounds really good. Anyways, I am intrigued by this because I feel like I need to read more books that have like a circus setting. Like I read the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber years ago, and I liked that kind of magical feeling. So I feel like this might have some like similar imagery in terms of kind of some circus fantasy vibes, but I really like the idea of these like dueling magicians who fall in love at this like magic circus setting. I think that could be really fun. And then the next one I picked up, I've never heard of before. It's by Megan Abbott, who I've also never read, but it looks good. It's called Queen Pin. So this is a really tiny book, but it's about this woman who's hired to keep the books at a downtown nightclub, and then she gets taken under the wing of this famous woman who's in the mob. And basically it sounds like it's going to be violent, and it's also about this complex relationship between these two, like, I don't know, badass kind of mob associated type women, and it sounds really cool. I like this cover too. It looks really badass and like old school kind of noir mob energy, and I really like that. I think that's gonna be really fun. And then switching gears, I picked up a graphic novel, which also looks really, really cute. The back is also really cute with this whale and like goldfish on it. But this one, I think, is about young people who have powers, and then there's also like a magic goldfish involved. And that sounded fun to me, and I like the art style. I think it's really cool. I like this dude with the brown hair who has like no eyes for no reason. Anyways, that just seemed fun to me, and I'm always looking for more graphic novels, and I usually find some good ones at that used bookstore because they have a pretty good like graphic novel and middle grade section. So anyways, I picked this one up. I'm not sure. I kind of feel like it's probably YA, but I thought it was really cute. I'd never heard of it before, so I picked that one up. And then the last one I picked up is one that I've been wanting to read for a long time, and it's called Ace of Spades. So this is a dark academia YA story, and I think it's set at a like private school, like a boarding school. And I think there's also discussions in here about like racism, and I think the two main characters are kind of like top of their class, like valedictorian, fighting over that position kind of vibe. And that's all I really know, but it's kind of cool because the front and the back both has them on it. And it also was a finalist for the American Library Association debut novel award, which is really cool too. And I remember when this came out, everybody was saying such good things about it, and it has really pretty end papers too, with that like dark academia little diamond pattern. So I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting to read this for a long time, and I don't know why I haven't. I think this was one that I was really super excited for, and then it just like totally fell off of my radar. And then at the beginning, it also has their like class schedules, like their little block class schedules on it. Isn't that cute? At their little private academy. Oh my God. Anyways, I'm excited about this. So those are all the books that I got from these bookstore. And then after we went to the bookstore, I also went to the public library, and I didn't film when I was there because I had never been to that library before, and I wanted to like get my library card and all that stuff. But I grabbed a few books, and I'm thinking for this vlog in terms of reading, I kind of wanted to read my library books and like prioritize these. And I also might pick up like one or two maybe from the used book haul that we just got, because I really want to start reading some more of the books that I own, and then also prioritizing like reading some library books and stuff before we move, because we're moving soon. So I need to finish any library books that I have checked out. So anyways, I picked this one up that I've also been wanting to read for a long time. It's called Beholder by Brian LaSala. So this is one that I almost bought when I was in Minneapolis, like almost a year ago. And this is a horror novel, and I've been wanting to try this author for a long time too, and I just have not gotten around to it. Anyways, so it says, no one survived the party at the penthouse except Athen. Okay, so it says Athen has made it far in life, relying on his charm and good looks, even securing an invitation to a mysterious penthouse soiree in New York that's for the artsy elite. But when he sneaks off to the bathroom, he hears a slam, followed by a scream. Athen peers outside, only to be pushed back in by a boy his age. The boy gravely tells him not to open the door, then closes Athen in. Outside the door, the party descends into chaos. Through hours of howls, laughter, and sobs, Athen stays hidden. When he finally emerges, he discovers a massacre where the corpses appear to have arranged themselves into a disturbingly elegant sculpture. Athen's mysterious savior is nowhere to be found. Athen, the only known survivor, is now the primary suspect. And the story goes from there. Doesn't that sound so good? What that has to do with this mechanical-looking spider on the front, and the eyeball on the back, I could not tell you, but I thought that synopsis sounded really fun, and I've been wanting to read this book for a really long time, and so I was really excited when I saw it at the library. And then I've also been wanting to read this for a long time, and it's called M is for Monster. So this is one I saw at Barnes & Noble, I think like a couple years ago, and I almost bought it because it looked really fun. I like the art style. Everything is in teal, which is very cool. Let me see if I can show you this. See how everything is so bright and colorful? But basically we're following this girl, and she gets in some sort of an accident, and she and her sister, I think, are like scientists, and I think she got in a car wreck or something and she died, and her sister like brings her back to life Frankenstein style, but she doesn't remember anything. Like, she doesn't remember who her sister is or anything. And so her sister is like, oh no, like, I was so excited to bring my sister back, and now she, isn't who she was when she passed away, right? And so now she's kind of like, I don't know, trying to figure the world out and figure out her place in it, and is basically like a whole new person who has like total amnesia. So anyways, it sounds good to me, and it's also a debut graphic novel, and it sounds really fun. I also really like the like Frankenstein kind of monster vibes in the lab, and it opens with her sister basically like bringing her back from the dead, and they're in the lab like doing experiments and stuff. And she also has like a bunch of stitches on her, because I think her sister had to kind of like stitch her back together, if you can like see that. But anyways, it looks really cool, and I'm excited to get into that. I really need to read some more graphic novels, because I haven't read very many this year so far. And then the last one I got from the library is another horror, and this one's a newer release, and it's called The Dark Becomes Her. So this cover has creepy monkeys on it. I think it's like a Asian inspired horror, and I have to show you the back of this too. Look at the back. Isn't that just stunning? I'm really, really excited about this. I don't remember the synopsis, so we'll have to look together. So it says, Ruby has always played the part of the dutiful eldest daughter, exceeding in school, excelling in piano, and keeping her sister focused on extracurriculars. Ooh, okay. And then it says, a ghost from the spirit world attacks Ruby in the middle of Vancouver's Chinatown neighborhood. Her life is plunged into a darkness that no amount of duty can free her from. Overnight, Ruby's sister seems to change. There are strange noises coming from her bedroom at all hours, and the once sweet, funny Tina has been replaced by something dark and unnatural. As Ruby races to save her sister from a demonic possession, she is thrown into an ancient battle over the gateway to the underworld. Known for making dark wishes come true, has returned to Chinatown after many years, intent on breaking down the gateway and unleashing the wickedness within. On the other side are the Guardians, determined to stop this encroaching evil, and in order to survive, Ruby must not only face the horror taking over her community, she must also confront the horror within herself. Ooh, that sounds really, really good. Okay, I'm excited about this. So I think this one's also YA as well, and it sounds like it has like strong themes of sisterhood, and it's also got the demonic possession in here, and I think that's going to be really, really fun. So anyways, lots of good spooky books from the library, so I think I'm going to prioritize those three, and then if I get through those, then I might pick up something else. I'm kind of feeling the Night Circus, to be honest with you, but that's kind of where I'm at. And then I also got few things when we went to the vintage mall, but we are currently packing and getting ready to move, and I brought them home, and then my husband packed them away before I could show you. So I'm gonna put up some pictures of the things that I got. So I got a really cool vase for one of my plants. It's like an old school vintage vase that's almost got like stained glass kind of on it. And I also got a new big Afghan blanket that's like handmade. And the lady at the store didn't know how much it cost because it's one of those places that has the different stalls with different vendors. And so she called the lady and was like, hey, like, how much is it? There's like 2 price tags. And so they gave me the cheaper price. And that was really cool. So I got a good deal on that. And then I also got a little like round wooden art piece for the wall that is like a old school cross stitch, and it's got like flowers on it and stuff, and it's really cute. So anyways, I got those to kind of like decorate our new place with, and so that is what I have to share with you. So I'm gonna go read, and I will update you guys in a little bit. Hello, so it has been a few weeks since I updated this vlog. Welcome to the new house. So since I saw you last, it's been a few weeks and I've moved across the country. I've read nothing for this vlog, and so I wanted to give you a little update and then continue on with the vlog. I thought about canceling this video, and then I was like, you know what? No, we don't need to do that. We can just continue on from a new location. So welcome to Iowa. Welcome to my new library office setup. Like I said, have read nothing, but we do have a Barnes & Noble close to our new place. And so I was thinking maybe to continue on with this video, we could go book shopping at Barnes & Noble for some new 2025 releases, because there's some things I've had my eye on that I think this new Barnes & Noble might have. So without further ado, let's go book shopping at Barnes & Noble. Hello, so we are back from book shopping, and I have a little book haul for you, my friend. And I would also just like to say that was the first time that I've gotten to go book shopping since we moved to Iowa, and it was really nice to go to Barnes& Noble because this is the first time where I've ever lived like close enough to Barnes& Noble to be able to like go casually without having to drive like over an hour to get to it and make it like a whole day trip. So that was kind of fun and interesting. And they did have some good things. I wasn't there a super long time just because we were out doing like other errands and stuff as well. But it was nice to pop in there and just see what they have. And then there's also an indie bookstore in town too. And I haven't been there either. It does look really cute though. And I think there's like a little coffee shop in there. And there was a coffee shop in the Barnes& Noble. So that's really fun. So I think doing like book shopping videos and stuff going forward is going to be really fun in Iowa, just exploring all the bookshops that they have close to where I live now. And so that's fun. So I had a good time at the Barnes & Noble for the first time ever, and I want to show you what I got. So this trip I was kind of focused on getting sequels, which I haven't read like hardly any sequels this year, but they had one I was really excited about, and it's Silverborn by Jessica Townsend. So first of all, I didn't know that this book was going to be as long as it is. I think it's like almost 700 pages. She's a brick. Do you see this thing? This is like Harry Potter level thick. But I am really, really excited about this. This is book 4 in the Morgan Crow series, the Nevermore series. And I've been waiting for this book to come out for, I think, like 2 years. And it got postponed due to COVID and all these different things. And I think the author was ill and stuff. And so now the series is being continued, which I'm super excited about. And it's got like this illustration on the cover, on the spine, and it has a big dragon on the cover, which I'm also really excited about. So this is going to be really fun, and it's beautiful. She's huge, but she's beautiful. And then I also grabbed a copy of a Casey McQuiston novel, and it's I Kissed Shira Wheeler. So this is one that I wasn't sure I was going to read when it first came out, but after reading The Pairing by Casey McQuiston in a recent vlog, I really do want to read more of their backlist. And so I saw this and I was like, I think I'm gonna pick this up today and just see how it goes. And also the end papers are really, really pretty. Do you see that? Look how gorgeous that print is. Ooh, we love her. So that's very fun. So I'm excited about that. I feel like I got a bunch of books from authors I've read from before too, and so I'm feeling really confident about my little haul. And then I also got the sequel to Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is the second book, which let's take a minute for her. She's stunning. The pink and the yellow. And it has Carl and Princess on the cover, and we love that. And so that's really, really fun. And I'm not sure how many books are going to be in this series, but I have been reading book 1, and I think you're going to probably see that vlog before you see this vlog. So as of today, I haven't finished it yet, but I have been loving it, and I really wanted to pick up the sequel. And then I also picked up a spooky book that I've been hearing a lot of people talk about. It's a 2025 release, and it's Blood on Her Tongue. And I don't know what the dog on the cover has to do with anything, but it looks really fun. And it's a horror, and it's about twin sisters, and one of the sisters becomes like really unwell, and she starts sending like weird letters and stuff to her twin. And the way that she's like writing is very concerning, and it makes her twin think that something is like mentally going on with her, like she's going crazy or something. And anyway, so the twin sister goes to check on the other twin, and shit starts getting weird, and I think the twin who's sick starts becoming like hungry and strange, and I don't know if it's like vampire vibes or what, but it sounds like there's some themes of madness in here and sisterhood and some spooky horror shit, and I'm really excited about this. I think it's gonna be really fun. I know a lot of my friends have also been anticipating that as well. And then I also grabbed one, I think this is the one that I'm the most excited about as of this moment, and it's The Library at Helleborn by Cassandra Khaw. So I read Cassandra Khaw for the first time earlier this year, and I really, really loved this author's writing. It was beautiful, it was lyrical, and I read, gosh, what is that novella called? It's a spooky one, something about the salt or something. Anyways, it's got a mermaid and it's got a witch doctor, and it was fabulous, and I loved it. And so I'm really excited about this. Also, this copy has some sprayed edges, which is pretty cool. So love the blue. Interesting that Barnes & Noble is doing like more sprayed edges for new releases. So anyways, I'm really excited about this. I think it's like a, I don't know, horror novel. I'm not sure if it's horror or fantasy or like a combination of the two. I think it might be kind of a combo of both, but I'm really excited about it. Also, I think the cover, now that I'm looking at this more closely, it kind of looks like there's a rotting flower with like bugs and stuff. Anyway, excited about this. So that's my little haul, and I'm excited about everything I've gotten so far. And in terms of reading, I've been thinking about what I told you earlier back when we were still in Idaho about my TBR for this video. And I'm thinking that I might add some of these new books I got to the potential TBR because I'm interested in reading Blood on Her Tongue soon, as well as The Library at Hellborn. And I also had to return the library books that I checked out before we left, obviously, because I was moving. And so I don't have the physical copies anymore, but I could read the ebooks of those horror books and that graphic novel that I checked out from the library because I never got to read them because I checked them out and then shit kind of got crazy with the move and then I had to return them and stuff. But I could read those as ebooks, and then I also have all the used books that I got right before we left as well. So I have a ton of new books to read, and so I'm not really sure what I want to pick up first. I also am still in the mood to read The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern too, so I think I'm just gonna kind of chill and decide once I'm ready to do so. I am kind of leaning towards The Library at Hellborn though, just to start, but I think I'm gonna just mood read like whatever new books I feel like reading. So, with that being said, I will update you when I've read something. Hello, my sweet petunias. So I'm back with a reading update, and I have been doing a lot of reading. So I started 4 books, I think, since I spoke to you last. So I think I told you I was going to start The Library at Hellebore, and I did. And I started reading this physically and was kind of having a hard time getting into it. So I switched to the audio, and then I switched back to the physical. The audiobook, to be honest, the narrator is kind of monotone, so I wouldn't super recommend the audiobook, my personal self, but I do think that the physical book is so good once I got back into it, and it kind of helps that my edition is absolutely stunning with these blue edges. And also, one thing I noticed with this is, I'm not sure if I told you what this book is about, but the inside flap has some things that were really interesting to me, so I'm going to share them with you. So, for one thing, there's a blurb from Olivia Blake, who's the author of Atlas 6, among a bunch of other popular books. And Olivia Blake said, "This is a punk rock, eldritch god, carnage fueled battle royale, dark academia, more metal than I'll ever be, and too cool for most of you." And I thought that was really cool because I love eldritch gods and was really interested that it's like also dark academia and also the carnage fueled battle royale energy. So I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. And then I was reading the blurb, and it says the Hellebore Technical Institute for the Gifted is the premier academy for the dangerously powerful, the antichrists and death workers, the world eaters and apocalypse makers. And it goes on to say, we're following this girl, her name's Alessa, and basically she gets kidnapped and enrolled in this academy because she's got some serious badass powers. And the thing about this academy, though, is that they market it as this place where people who have like these crazy antichrist powers and stuff can go to train, and it's like protecting society. They're getting like their needs met when they're young, and so they can live like a normal life and stuff once they graduate. Well, really though, this institute is totally doing false marketing, and it's like a deadly institute, and everybody there has crazy mad powers. But on graduation day, the faculty embark on a ravenous rampage and they feast on all of the students. And so it's very strange. So basically, Alessa is kidnapped, forced to go to the school, and on graduation day, she has to try and work together with her classmates to like survive being eaten by the faculty, which is crazy work. It's reminded me a little bit of that series by Naomi Novik. Oh my gosh, it's about like the Charlemagne school and everything. I'll put the cover up here. But I really liked that first book that I read in that trilogy, and The Library at Hellebore is reminding me a lot of that. The main character, Alessa, is also like badass, sassy. I really like her. She has this line in the first or second chapter, and I just absolutely loved it because she's talking about how she ended up finding out that she had powers because she basically says that some of the people, who are at the school decided to go there. Like their parents are wealthy and stuff, and they heard about this amazing institute and they've got these powers, and so they like signed up to be there. And other people got kidnapped because in this world, if you show that you have magic, then you, especially if you're like really powerful, they immediately enroll you in one of these institutes, even if they have to like kidnap you to do it. And I think it's set in like a alternate version of the US where like there used to be magic, and then there's some things from modern day with like capitalism and everything, and then it's kind of like post-capitalism, or like towards the end of capitalism, magic like reappeared in this world after having died out for a long time, and people are starting to exhibit these like powers, and the magic is starting to like interfere with capitalism, and so that's why they're like abducting people who show powers and like sending them to schools and stuff. Anyway, but this school, the library at Hellebore, is very like elite, and it's just for like the most deadly people, which is cool. But anyway, so Alessa talks about she got attacked basically, like attempted essay, and that's when her powers came out and she killed the guy who did it. And ever since then, it's like if anybody tries to mess with her, especially men who won't take no for an answer, she just kills them. And she's got this line where she goes, "No should have been taken without interrogation, accepted without need for wheedling or attempts at coercion. Since they won't listen, I didn't either. Anyway." And I just thought that was fierce. The way that she ends it with "anyway," I was like, I definitely personally end sentences with "anyway" a lot in that same tone of voice, and I just love her. So it's kind of skipping timelines. So we open with before, and it opens with her killing somebody, and it's very gruesome. So it's gruesome like from the jump, and I kind of thought it would be more fantasy. I think when I originally picked it up, like I knew that Cassandra Claw did like horror, and I read. Oh my gosh, The Salt Grows Heavy, and I really liked that, and so that's why I picked this up. But I was still thinking like from the cover that it would be more fantasy, but I knew with like this creepy like bloody looking fig with the wasp or whatever on the cover, it was probably gonna have some horror. But it's very horror. It's like the fantasy, I guess there's magic, right? But yeah, I would say it feels like a version of that Naomi Novik book, but make it more horror and like more gore. That's kind of what this is, with like the deadly school, dark academia vibes, but this is definitely more body horror, I would say, which I love. It's going great so far. I'm really, really enjoying it. But anyway, so we're following our main character in one timeline when she's at the graduation and she knows shit's about to hit the fan and they're about to be attacked by the faculty. And then we get the before chapters where she's just gotten kidnapped she wakes up at the school and she knows where she is, but she doesn't really know what's going on. So she's kind of talking to the other students trying to get like the lay of the land, and she's got this roommate who we see in the opening chapter, but we get to see when they first met, and her roommate is one of the people who enrolled herself on purpose with like her best friend. And so they're both at this school, and you can tell she's not thrilled about having Alessa as a roommate. And Alessa's also, I think she's Asian, and at least that's the vibe that I'm getting initially. And the roommate she has is like a white girl, and she can tell she's like the kind of girl who's not used to being told no, like probably from a rich family and stuff. So I'm curious to see what their relationship is going to be like. It seems like there's some messy relationships in here as well. But anyway, the magic is interesting. The school is very pretty. There's like these really macabre paintings everywhere that a previous student did, and some of the paintings have like women with wasp wings and like deer who are hunting men. It's like man-eating deer and all of these crazy things. So it's very magical, very macabre, very sassy main character. I'm eating this up and I'm loving it. And I just think it's really fun and really beautiful. So anyways, if you're into kind of like fantasy horror and body horror and magic stuff and like sassy feminine rage stories, I think this would be for you because there's definitely strong feminine rage vibes in this, which love. And then I also started Blood on Her Tongue, and I'm farther into this one. I'm 104 pages into Blood on Her Tongue. I've been doing a lot of reading today, and I'm really loving this too. So this one also has something that I really like that I didn't know it had. So this was interesting to me. So this is set in the Netherlands in the 1800s, and we're following two twins, Lucy and Sarah. Sarah she is supposedly having like a bout of insanity or something. She's really unwell. And her husband writes to her twin sister Lucy and is like, hey, something's wrong with Sarah. Like, you need to come. Like, I'm fearing for her life. And so Lucy gets on a train, she goes, and her sister and her sister's husband live in this like old sprawling estate that is on the grounds of like a bog, like a peat bog. And it's interesting. And so what happens essentially in the opening is Sarah, uh, she's living in her whatever fancy manor with her man, and the farmers that work for them are harvesting peat from the bog, and they find a body in the bog, a dead body, and it's like an old one. It's like centuries old, and it's a woman who has like stakes through her joints and like a piece of stone or like brick in her mouth, and it's like partially decomposed but not all the way. And Sarah becomes like obsessed with this dead body, and then something happens to Sarah related to this body, and it starts like consuming her mind, and she's got some madness going on. Her husband doesn't want to commit her to the asylum, whatever, and her twin sister is trying to figure out what the hell's going on with her sister. And it's definitely dark gothic horror, fun vibes. But the thing about this that I love is the dead body part, because it doesn't really say too much about that in the synopsis. It's more about like the twins and the madness or whatever. But the dead body part got me because when I was in undergrad, I took this class called The Culture of Death and Dying, which I just took it because I thought the name was hilarious. Anyway, so I was studying like anthropology stuff at the time. So basically in this class they were talking about different burials and stuff over time. And I remember there was this topic that was discussed about in Romania back in the day, if they thought somebody was going to be like a restless spirit when they died, or they had reason to believe that they had like their spirit was coming back and like haunting the family or whatever, causing mischief, they would sometimes unbury the body, and they would put like stakes through it or like break the legs or whatever, and then shove a brick in its mouth to keep the dead from coming back as vampires. And so when they were talking about that body, the way it was found in the book, I was like, oh, you've got me in a choke hold, because I've never read about that in a fiction book. I've only heard about it in like historical anthropology stuff. And I love dead people forensics kind of shit. So seeing that in a horror, like a gothic horror, plus like the kind of, I don't know, not toxic relationship between the twins, but kind of like codependent energy going on was interesting. And also our main character, Lucy, the girl who's trying to figure out why her twin is sick and what's going on with this body and everything, she also, she's a weird, freaky, deaky, eeky leaky kind of a gal, a little bit, because she is kind of down bad for her twin's husband, Michael, who, little weird. She says he looks like a shark. He's got like extra teeth in his mouth. His eyes are like black. He's not really like handsome, but she's got the hots for him. And it's crazy work. Just like the way that she has like sexual fantasies about her twin's husband when he's like, I don't know, he's kind of sus. Like I wouldn't say he's the worst, but I wouldn't say he's like the best guy or like the best husband. Um, anyways, it's like, ooh, drama, tea, dead bodies, potential like a vampire spirit haunting the sister or whatever, getting her in her head crazy. Also, I kind of thought I knew where this was going when Lucy comes to the estate and her twin sister is like ill and she's like, in the sick bed and they're like nursing her and things are like bad and whatever. The doctors are trying to help her, but something's not right. I was like, I think I know where this is going. And then it didn't. And it took a turn and it really goes there with the horror. And I loved it. So that just happened. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm being vague on purpose because if you want to read this, which I think you should, if you're into horror, especially gothic horror, I don't want to spoil that scene for you. But I'm curious to see where we're going because we've got a lot of book left. But really loving this. I feel like both of these books are absolute bangers, and I'm so glad that I bought them because these are both 2025 releases, and I highly recommend you pick these up if you're into horror of the fantasy or gothic kind. And then I also started a couple other books. So I think I told you I had some library books I checked out before we moved, didn't get a chance to read them, was sad about it. So what I did was I went on Hoopla and they had the ebooks. So I checked out the ebook for Beholder by Ryan LaSala, which I've been meaning to read for ages and I just haven't gotten to it. So I started that. I'm not like crazy far in, but it's good so far. So this one's also kind of spooky. We're following this guy. He's Greek. His family died in a fire a few years ago. He lives with his grandma. Grandma's got dementia. His life kind of sucks. Anyways, but his grandma's superstitious and she always tells him like, don't look in mirrors. Like don't make eye contact with yourself in the mirror because in their family they have this power and he has it too, where if he looks in the mirror, makes eye contact with himself, he all of a sudden like it makes his POV change so it's like he's looking through the mirror and he can see anybody who has like looked in the mirror and he can see things from like the past. So if he like looks in a bathroom mirror, he can see everybody who is in that bathroom that day. And it's a very strange power and he doesn't really know how to use it. His family's like kind of scared of it. And his grandma basically says like just don't use it, like it's a curse. And she says that if you use the power, then other things, she calls it like the third eye, can see you in return. And so it almost like opens yourself up to this evil that will come after you and like hurt you. And so, especially after like the fire that took out his parents, like she's really superstitious about it. And so he just has been tamping down his power this whole time. And he lives in New York and he's at this like ritzy ass party one day. His boss like made him go to this party, whatever. And he is just kind of like, not vibing with it. People just talk at him. He kind of just listens to everybody else. And he's one of those people where he's getting to know everybody in the room, but they don't know anything about him, which relatable. And I feel that anyway. So he goes to the bathroom to get away from everybody. And before he goes to the bathroom, he realizes like it looks like the wallpaper is moving, like something is kind of sus in this house. And so he goes to the bathroom, whatever, and he uses his power in the mirror because he's trying to kind of like use it once in a while to try and kind of like get a handle on it. And he does it. And then some crazy shit breaks out at this party and it has one of the things I love, where somebody goes to the bathroom at a party and then everybody else at the party dies except them. And that's what happens. And basically, he knows like shit is going down and is not sure if it's his fault or not. And there's these weird spiderweb things in the house when he comes out, and the police are like banging down the door, and he sees like the bodies of everybody at the party, like in a crumpled heap in a way that almost looks like their bodies were arranged into a sculpture, which is crazy work. And everything in the house is like smashed. The furniture is like weirdly piled. Like, that's not something that a normal human could like do. And there's these weird, like, iridescent, spidery threads throughout the house too. And so he's like, oh shit, like, I don't want to get blamed for this. And I don't know if it was my fault because I did the mirror thing, or if I like attracted the third eye, something like some entity, and it like took these people out or what. But he's on the run. And at the party, when shit's going down, he starts to come out of the bathroom, and this guy pushes him back in and is like, stay here, I'll come and get you when it's safe. And then the guy never comes back. And then he sees a reflection later as he's like on the run from this penthouse party. He sees a reflection in like some windows and stuff, and he sees the guy who pushed him in the bathroom like earlier in the night on the phone and stuff, and he's trying to figure out like, who is this guy, what's happening. He's on the run. It's very chaotic, but it's cool. So it's again kind of like a spooky magical story, but I'm digging it so far. It's very interesting. It's not really what I thought it would be, but the cover has a spider on it, and the cover is stunning, by the way. Love. And so I'm wondering if it's like creepy mirror spider demon. I don't know. I really don't know. But I like this superstitious, like Greek historical kind of stuff. I think that's cool. And also his name, he goes by, I don't know. He's got a funky name. He goes by Athen, I think, but his full name means like immortal in Greek, which is also interesting. So, anyways, he's survived like 2 crazy tragedies now. So I'm curious to see what's going on with this. And then again, I started another book. I started another ebook, one of the library ones, and I think it's called The Darkness Becomes Her. This one's a YA horror. I'm not super far into this. I feel like I got sucked in more to the other 3 than this one. And I don't know if it's because it's YA or if it's because it's got like a slower start. Like, I feel like the horror in this one hasn't really hit yet, but I feel like it's coming. So we're following this girl, and she is really into piano. So it opens with her at her piano lesson, which, been there. And she's like really struggling with this one piece. So she's Asian, and her parents are really strict, and they want her to go to university and everything. And she really just wants to like play piano. That's what she loves to do. But she's kind of like having to fight them to do the thing that she loves, which is really sad. And she's also struggling with this one piano piece. And basically her piano teacher's like, you don't have to do this one. And she's like, no, like, I need to prove to myself and my parents that like I can do this. Anyways, so she's got a fraught relationship with her parents, fraught relationship with her sister. She's having to like walk through these creepy mall related spaces to like get out of the piano lesson. And her sister like ditched her and went home on her own. And she's like stressed out. It's kind of creepy. And I just feel like something bad is going to happen to this girl. And I'm scared for her. But that's kind of where I'm at so far. The beginning didn't like grab me by the throat as much as the other ones, but I'm still enjoying it, and I feel like I just need to get into it a little bit more. But that's the reading update that I have for you. And I think with that, I'm gonna end this vlog because I did quite a bit of reading. And I thank you so much for hanging out with me and going book shopping. I hope that you had a fun time watching this vlog. And don't forget to like and subscribe to see some more videos from me. I'm gonna be doing some Bookmas videos in December, so it's a good time to subscribe to the channel if you would like to see some more fun bookish videos coming out soon. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!